Perfect. Well, good afternoon. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. My name is Ani Pagosian, and I'm with the City of Glendale's Economic Development Division. Thank you for joining us for our first virtual Glendale Tech on Tap event on how to win at networking despite social distancing. I have not experienced a virtual networking opportunity, and this is a first for me, as it may be for many of you as well. What better way to experience this than with a guest speaker like Kylie Hodges? Kylie is the CEO of the Wingwoman Collective, helping consultants and high-level freelancers get comfortable connecting and turn casual contacts into cash. She mastered the art of building authentic connections one by one and is on a mission to help other business owners find the joy in face-to-face connection to grow a thriving business. We encourage you all to participate in the networking opportunities and lively discussions. This session will also be recorded. One more quick announcement before we get started. The Economic Development Division will be hosting a marketing webinar series that is tentatively scheduled to start on Thursday, May 14th. The series will provide valuable insight into the best social media practices for small businesses during COVID-19. Stay tuned on our Choose Glendale platforms for more details. Let's give Kylie some virtual claps, and Kylie, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Ani, and thank you everybody for showing up for yourself today. I'll introduce myself in just a moment, but before I share my screen with you, anybody here new to Zoom? Okay, Tina is. All right, I feel like by now we're in the part of quarantine where everybody's like, I've been Zooming like a pro. But just in case this is new to you, if you go to the bottom menu of your Zoom window, you'll see a button that says reactions, and you can do a clap hands or a thumbs up, and you are welcome to react throughout this, and I'll try to keep my eyes on you guys, but also I have a deck that I'll share with you in just a moment. Good job, John. He just gave a thumbs up. It's, you know, a small way you can interact. Also, there is a chat box on the bottom menu. I'll try to keep my eyes on chat, but for the most part, I'm going to hold questions until the end, and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. So if you have one stuck in your brain 1 minute into my presentation, write it down so you don't forget, and I'm happy to take your answers. Or take your questions. And then after a short, great, love the thumbs up, Adriana. And then after a short Q&A, we'll do a little virtual networking exercise, pending technology works out. In fact, Ani, can you make me the host, please? And then I will have permission to split you guys up, and I'll explain more about that when we get there. Cool, I'm host. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you guys right now, so give me one moment. And I know you can see my internet browser, but it is what it is. Welcome, Nikki and E-Voice. So many people coming in. Actually, Ani, I'm going to make you a co-host, if that's cool, so that you can admit people. Oh, God.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, let me figure out how to do that first. I think I've done this before. Thanks everybody for being patient. I'm sure this is not the first time you've had to sit and wait for something to happen on a Zoom call. Make host. I don't think this allows me to make co-host, but that's fine. I should be able to just let people in.
Yes.
Yeah. I just gotta like multitask, right? Cool.
If you find Ani on the chat box, you might be able to select her and make her a host. I have done that before as well.
Yes, but I want to make her a co-host.
A co-host, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Let's move on. Okay, so everybody can see my deck, yes? Cool. Great. Okay, welcome. My name is Kylie Hodges, and today we're going to be talking about how to win at networking despite social distancing. And here we go. So at the Wingwoman Collective, which is my company, BT Dubs, we help high-level consultants who struggle with building and converting relationships while networking. They feel overwhelmed with their never-ending to-do list, and they feel frustrated that they're not working with their dream clients. So working with me, they master networking and sales skills so that they can easily attract that perfect client, close interest into sales, and grow their business to make impactful change in the world. I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and I'm sure you're one of them. You didn't just go into business for the sake of having a business, right? If you wanted to make money, you could have gotten something a little cushier and easier. A lot of entrepreneurs are fueled by passion and impact, and I am there to support those people. So that's a little about me. A little more about me, though, which is a fun fact and my favorite icebreaker, is this fun photo right here. I was once upon a time the driver and spokesperson of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. And that's really how my story began. Now, by a round of thumbs ups, has anybody heard of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile before or seen it in person? Let's see. A couple, okay, a couple thumbs up. Great, great, John, awesome. Yes, so it's an iconic 27-foot-long hot dog on wheels, and I was the spokesperson and driver of it as my first job after college, and it was an incredible experience. I went to 37 states. I saw the Grand Canyon in the Wienermobile. I took it to my grandmother's house, but I also was on CNN in the Today Show. I actually have some photos of that right there. The photo on the right is me on CNN. It was the Wienermobile's 75th birthday, which is why there's a giant party hat on a hot dog car. But that job was incredible. I'm not just trying to humble brag here. It taught me so much about networking. And here are a few things. One was it taught me how to be a rock star spokesperson to create a cohesive brand in real life. When you think of Oscar Mayer, oftentimes people think about the Wienermobile. And so it was our job as hot doggers, which was my job title. And in fact, my name was Ketchup Kylie. It was Ketchup Kylie's job to show up at either the CNN Tower or a Walmart in Kentucky and be the Ketchup Kylie that Oscar Mayer has promoted itself to be in advertisements in magazines and on TV. People expected hot doggers to have that similar family-friendly, food and fun-centric attitude when they met us in real life. And that was so impactful for me to realize that while they put a lot of money, while Oscar Mayer put a lot of money into their branding and their marketing, we were mobile marketing, and they made sure that we were showing up just as on point with the brand as any other touch point with the consumer was. The next thing I learned was the power of a strong introduction, and that really guided my success throughout my career. So when I started the job as an Oscar Mayer hot dogger, we were put through 14 days of super intense training called Hot Dog High. And I even have a diploma to show that I graduated from it while I took an oath with a hot dog in hand. They really don't mess around at Oscar Mayer. And one of the days during training, they brought in Oprah's crisis consultant. And they locked us in a conference room for 12 hours with this lady. And she was like, look, we have a bajillion talking points that we need you to have drilled into your brain, because this is our messaging on TV spots, radio spots, and magazine ads, and we need you to be just on brand when you see people in person. So whenever someone would come up to me at the Wienermobile and they'd be like, what are you doing here? I would say the line at the time, which was, we're here to spread miles of smiles. And it sounds so corny, but that was their exact tagline for the year. We were prepared with exactly how to position Oscar Mayer's branding verbally so that everybody walked away from the Wienermobile with the exact same messaging and experience. So again, that ties back to the first point of consistent messaging. the last thing. Hotdogging taught me that networking is really just a numbers game. You never know which interaction will lead you to an amazing connection, and that's why it's important to approach every interaction with positivity and curiosity. Now, a lot of people kind of get a little discouraged when they hear me say it's a numbers game, but I find it incredibly freeing because you can just let go of the pressure of having super high expectations when you're finally engaging with somebody. Because guess what? You cannot control other people, but you can control the way you show up. So if you just show up as yourself in every engagement, you can trust that the right person will come by when necessary. Thanks for the claps. All right. Oh, we got someone else coming in. Oh, JK, that's the chat. Okay. And Ani, I don't know how to add you as a co-host. Sorry. But I'm adding people as we go. So don't worry. All right. Enough about the Wienermobile. Let's talk about why we're really here, right? So why does networking matter for you? First of all, a one-on-one connection is the fastest way for someone to know, like, and trust you. And that is what leads to sales. And while I didn't name this how to get sales during social distancing, I think we're all, well, I'm not gonna say I think, we are all networking for a purpose that somehow benefits us in some sort of way. Even if you're not a business owner and you're networking because you want to get a new job, there's still a financial gain at the end of that rainbow. So whether it's a client sale or a paycheck from an employer, that is still a sale. Number two, the personal and the professional intertwine. That is exceptionally true right now during social distancing and during COVID-19. Everybody is relating to personal life experiences outside of work. So you need to show up for your business the way it shows up for you, because you cannot separate your personal experience from your professional experience right now. You have to acknowledge the elephant in the room, which is COVID-19 has kept us in our sweatpants for like 50 days straight. And while you wouldn't wear sweatpants to the office, you got to talk about them during COVID-19 because we're all doing it. All right, and the last one, treat yourself like your business and figure out how to position and market yourself to get the outcome you want. Now, I'm going to teach you guys my 5 ways to win at networking, and I tweaked them to be appropriate for social distancing. But at the root of all of this, it is just a matter of nobody's putting effort and strategy into networking. And so let's treat networking just like we would treat any other vertical in our business and show up with a strategy and intention. And that is the way to make yourself be the most authentic. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so why does it matter right now? Maya Angelou said this quote, "At the end of the day, people won't remember what you said, but how you made them feel." Woo, I love that one. I say it every time I give a talk. Now is the time to really hone in on relationships and get on a human level. Now is the time to realize that we're all engaging with each other out of necessity because we're locked in our houses and we're going stir crazy, and who would have thought you could miss talking to somebody at the water cooler at work, but you do. So let it be known then that anytime you're engaging with someone, even at the water cooler at work, you're networking. They're probably asking how you're doing, and you're probably asking how they're doing. That's networking. I'm networking with you right now. You guys might be talking in the chat box. You're networking. So why should you listen to me? Other than mastering how to handle one-on-one touch points for a $4 billion brand. And by the way, the year that I drove the Wienermobile, I think I talked to on average about 2,000 people a week minimum. So multiply that times 52 weeks. I figured out what was resonating with people and what didn't. So I'm not here to just feed you a bunch of BS. This is coming from a place of experience. And now I've taken that information and put it into how I've pivoted my career throughout the years and how I've used it to grow my business. So this is very much coming from a place of like, here I am, this is what I did, and now I'm here to share it with you. And really, nobody is putting in the work to master specifically how to network the way I'm doing it. So that's why I'm sharing with you today. All right, so let's get started, shall we? Some people are like, how can you possibly network during social distancing? And I just want to remind you that the only major thing that's changing here is where you're connecting with people. And if you're in Los Angeles, it's kind of exciting because you don't have to sit in traffic, which I do kind of miss my car sometimes. But trying to get to a happy hour from Santa Monica to downtown at rush hour is a nightmare. So that nightmare for right now is on pause. So really what it means is we just have to tweak our strategy, but we certainly do not give up. This is not the time to hold back and stop or think that now's not a good time to connect. Quite the opposite. Now is the time to really lean in and connect. All right, so everybody give me some virtual applause if you think networking is awkward, hard, or stressful. Let's see it. Yeah, you're not alone, clearly. It's okay, it's okay. Nobody really teaches you how to do it, right? Just like no one really teaches you how to balance your checkbook in school, no one's teaching you what is the purpose of networking. You just hear people say, you gotta network, you gotta network. Cool, so what does that mean? Well, let's talk about it. And by the way, it doesn't have to be hard. And if every time you feel that it's hard, you can tell yourself, networking can be fun and easy to me. You can put that on a Post-it note on the flip down thing of your car. I used to do that. I'll put little messages for myself there. You can put that on a Post-it note and leave it for yourself there the next time you physically go to a networking event. Or in the meantime, you can put it on a Post-it note on your laptop because you're probably going to be on a lot of Zoom calls. All right, so for today, you're going to learn the 5 steps to be strategic, authentic, and effective with networking so that you're getting ROI every single time. Return on investment from networking. So let's dive in, right? Step number 1, know your talking points. There is a reason why Lizzo is there. Don't worry, that's not an accident. Of the 5 steps of winning at networking, most of them take place before you leave the house, before you know what who you're going to talk to, or you don't even have to move. A lot of this is just internal. It's getting yourself positioned. So you got to know your talking points. And this goes back to what I was talking about with the Wienermobile. Words matter. So you set the bar for how you are seen, so you need to set it high. For example, Lizzo. She knows she is awesome, and she talks about it all the time. And everybody, a majority of people, also think Lizzo is awesome because she radiates confidence in herself. I know this is like preachy and very Instagrammy, love yourself, but it really does come down to you set the bar for how you are seen. So you got to set it high and channel that Lizzo energy. And if the phrase fake it till you make it works for you, then fake that energy until you feel that energy. But it also comes down to creating an elevator pitch. Now, a lot of times people think about elevator pitches when they're actually pitching a business or they have a project, but why not have an elevator pitch for you and your business whenever you are talking to somebody? Oftentimes, many times, almost every time when you're talking to someone, it'll turn to, so what do you do? That answer can be curated, and it should be, because that's how you take control of how you're seen and what information people are processing about you and your business. So to create a solid elevator pitch, it needs to be clear, concise, and delivered with confidence. All right. Oh, there we go. Step number 2, you need to define your target connection. Now, I say target connection in an ambiguous sense because I just don't know if everybody here is a business owner, and you can chime in and say if you're not, but target client is another way to look at it. I need you to define your target client or your target connection to the point where you already know this person. So you need to get crystal clear on who you need to meet to expand your business or your community or your circle. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what does their life look like? What does their business look like? What does their job look like? What do they do on weekends? Get so clear that it seems like they're a real person. That's your target connection. You can ask yourself, and this is specific to right now, what are some feelings or pains that they're experiencing during COVID-19, especially how they relate to you, but not necessarily. I'm sorry, when I say relate to you, I mean to your business or what you offer. So, for example, I am a networking coach or a business relationship expert. So I know that a lot of people right now are experiencing the pain of thinking they cannot get sales because of all of these layoffs. The economy is wonky. We're all stuck at home. I know how to address those pain points, and therefore I'm leaning into that when I connect with people, because that's how I can relate to what they're going through right now. And the last one, in what way are they affected by COVID? Now, I know that that can sound a little bit like number two, but think of number two as internal. What are they experiencing internally? Maybe they're like depression. That's an intangible thing, right? But then a tangible thing might be no money in the bank. You could physically check their bank account and see that, but I can't physically check anything to see if they're experiencing depression, right? So what are the tangible and the intangible pain points that people are experiencing right now? In addition to, what part of town do they live in? What do they like to do on the weekends? What are their goals in life? What are their biggest fears? Knowing them holistically as a person. So we've already gotten through 2 steps. And as you'll see, so far, there has been no need to talk to another person yet, right? Because it's all about getting ourselves positioned first and then getting clear on who you're looking for. And the reason that I bring that up is because I often hear so many people talk about networking, and they'll say, when I meet someone at a networking event, I'll say, what are you doing here? And they'll say, oh, I'm just here to check it out. That's a common, I've even said that, but what a waste of time for themselves to say that, because they're clearly not clear on who they're looking for. So get clear on who you're looking for first before you even step out of the house, or in this case, before you even open your laptop. So now the third step is you need to think like your target connection. So step 2 is getting clear on what their life looks like holistically, but now you need to start thinking, okay, I know this person really well, so how are they handling things? What specifically are they currently seeking support in? And I say that because no matter how little or how greatly you're affected by COVID-19, we're all seeking support in some way. We're all affected by it. So what are they doing to find support? Maybe it's just community in a social setting, like Zoom get-togethers with family and friends. Or maybe it's finding a job because they just got laid off. So what is their biggest focus right now that they're seeking support in? Number 2, where are they seeking community? So are they doing it through Instagram accounts? Are they doing it in Facebook groups? Are they starting their own thing because they're an entrepreneur? Where are they going to find that community and that support? And finally, I made an assumption there by saying community and support. What are they actually looking for? Are they looking for education? Are they looking for community? Are they looking for support? Or maybe they're looking for growth or stability. So again, pillars 2 and 3 weave together a little bit, because you really have to get clear on what this person's life and mind looks like to understand how to seek them out. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. If you're not thinking like your target connection, then you're missing out on meeting them. Just like that example I gave earlier of saying, I'm just here to check it out. You could pop into a Zoom networking event only for entrepreneurs, but if you're looking for people in the C-suite, they're probably not going to be there. They might be, but it doesn't seem as likely. So you got to do your homework. ultimately, for the third pillar, ask yourself, what do they want and where are they going to get it? It's not about you, it's about them. Now, my traditional 5 ways to win at networking, I would talk about where to physically go. So for whenever we leave the house again, think about when you see networking events, are you going because it's free or it's near your house or because you like the topic? Or are you going because you know that that's where the person you're looking for will be? Oftentimes, I say that a lot, but it's because many, many people tell me the same things about their networking strategy. They're just going to network because it interests them, but they haven't put any thought into if it interests the people that they're looking to meet. All right, on to step 4. You gotta take the lead. So what do I mean by that? This is where my method gets altered a little bit for the sake of social distancing. I'm going to emphasize now more than ever to foster relationships that have already been started or made, or even just the idea of being introduced to somebody once a year ago. Now is the time to dig into the network you already have. So in my normal curriculum, this is step 5, and it's take the lead in a conversation and commit to the follow-up. The follow-up is now. Now is the time to commit to all of those people whose business cards you collected 6 months ago at an event, and they're still in a pile on your nightstand, and you haven't actually reached out to them. Now's the time to do that. Even if it feels to you like a cold lead or a cold introduction, if you got that business card from that person, it's lukewarm. So it's okay. And it's also, I don't want to discourage cold reach outs, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The fact of the matter is, if you met somebody once in some situation, now is the time to grow and develop and foster that relationship. We're all going through something at a very human level. And so that right there gives you something that is common ground. So a few other ideas of how to tap into your network and commit to the follow-up. Check in with past clients. It can just be a short and sweet note saying, hey, how are you doing? Which honestly could be used with anybody. But checking in on past clients is also a really great way to remind them that, hey, maybe they need your support again. Number 2, like I said, reach out to those business cards that you've collected and reintroduce yourself. They probably are not going to remember you just by name. So help them out when you reintroduce yourself and say how you met them, where you met them, what you were wearing if you remember, or something that you talked about if you remember. Send a note to a peer that you admire. I love this one. Who doesn't love flattery? Reach out to someone who you admire, and now of all times, we could all use a compliment. What a great way to get your foot in the door with someone who probably intimidates you. I'm intimidated by people I admire, so I'm going to make a grand assumption other people are too. And that's a great way to get the conversation going, and that could be incredibly beneficial down the line. All of these can be incredibly beneficial. Reconnect with prospects or leads who slipped away. Give me a thumbs up if you have been introduced to somebody and you've been meaning to follow through with it because you know it's good for you, and then it never happened. Yeah. Same. It happens. We get too in our head. Oh, I don't know what to say. Oh, now it's not a good time. They're gonna think I'm weird. Now I've waited too long. No, there's no such thing as waiting too long. Reconnect with those people who've slipped away and use this as an opportunity to just check in and see how they're doing. The goal here is to do a check-in, and you can literally do it with everybody in your list. This is honestly a very special time to re-engage with relationships and just see what happens. But the goal here is to foster those relationships and not have an agenda. So I'll get to that in a minute. The next step is kill them with kindness. My favorite pillar of the Wingwoman Collective. I said this before in the Maya Angelou quote, but people are going to remember you for how you made them feel, and second, for what you said. So if you're gonna re-engage with people, are you gonna re-engage by saying, hi, my name is Kylie and I'm the founder of the Wingwoman Collective. Do you wanna be my client? Now, I know none of you would do that, but I have gotten emails like that before, and it makes me LOL every time. People want to hear from a fellow human who can empathize with them, right? It has to be coming from a place of genuine kindness and curiosity. And that's what this form of networking that I'm talking about with you today is all about. All you have to do is ask them about them first and really listen closely. And this applies to when you're talking face to face too. You always ask them about them first. Tell me more about yourself. What are you working on these days? What are you most excited about this summer? Eventually, they will talk themselves to a point where they realize they haven't asked anything about you. They feel very appreciative that they've gotten to share, but then they feel a little guilty that they've been oversharing. And I promise you, they will cue it up to you and say, I've been talking too much. What about you? And now you have heard a little more about them to, in a sales term, qualify them and see if they are a good fit for that target connection that you're looking for. They feel wonderful because you made them feel special, and I'm going to assume you were listening to every word they said, because you should. And now they've teed you up to deliver your elevator pitch, and they are going to listen because they were listened to. It all comes full circle. So when you're re-engaging with people, now is the time to offer value. The question, how can I support you, is super powerful. A lot of these people, somebody might not even have an answer. A lot of people probably won't have an answer, but hearing that is going to feel so comforting. And the word equalizing is coming to my mind, and that is not the right word, but you know what I'm saying? It puts you on a level playing field. And that can really help disarm somebody and want to connect even deeper and want to talk even more, just by the sake of knowing that they are being heard and that they are cared for. So this pillar, kill them with kindness, the goal here is to make them feel heard so that they hear you. When you're having conversations with people, stay curious and present in that conversation. Remember, like I mentioned a moment ago, when you're engaging with somebody and checking in, and when you're having any networking conversation, regardless of if you're in a quarantine or not, it's not about you. And you want to be curious and asking a lot of questions like a detective to qualify them and see if they are the person that you're looking for. And if they're not, that's okay. Don't shut them down. Be kind. But this is helping you get to the point of, am I talking with somebody who is within the boundaries of my target connection or not? And if not, okay, let's see what else can come from this. Or, all right, I'll wrap this up. This strategy here today is really meant to be a strategy for you to be planting seeds that will bloom later on this year. I know it doesn't feel like it, but things will change. And people will remember what they receive and how they are treated during times like this. And so I cannot emphasize enough, now is the time to tap into the network you already have and be a valuable support system. That doesn't mean give away your services free. That does not mean share all of your secrets. It just means be there and let them know that you're there and just start the conversation again. So, a few things I want to make sure you avoid. Do not talk about yourself first. It's a no-brainer. I already went there. If you are a person selling services or products, do not cut to the sale fast. Remember, the goal here is to network, to plant seeds. Do not try and force those seeds to bloom immediately. Not a good time. But if it is appropriate, after, some people have shorter sales cycles than others. So you might re-engage with somebody and after 2 conversations, they're like, wait, I think I want to work with you. Then great, go for it. Close that sale. And the last thing is, don't cold email somebody trying to get them on the phone to hear more about what you offer. No, remember, that's not the agenda. It is to check in, see how they're doing, how can you support them. So to recap, of the 5 ways to win at networking right now amongst social distancing, you need to know your talking points. You need to get clear on who your target connection is. You need to think like your target connection so you can figure out where to find them. You need to take the lead and tap into those that network and re-engage with conversations, and then kill them with kindness. So probably a lot of people are like, how am I going to virtually network? Like I mentioned earlier when I defined networking, it's anytime you're engaging with somebody. So I want this to be a lesson to just open up your eyes to the idea that just socializing or connecting or communicating is in itself networking if you can take the lead and steer the conversation. And by that I mean asking somebody about them first. So a few suggestions of places to virtually network. May I suggest connecting with somebody who you haven't seen in a while and asking them for a virtual coffee date on FaceTime or Zoom. I'm sure some of you have already done that. Do it with other people who it makes you feel a little nervous to ask. Schedule a Zoom co-working session. I love these. You could ask a couple people, hey, do you guys want to co-work together? It'll help us be accountable to each other to get our stuff done, but also we can spend the first 15, 20, 30 minutes catching up, and then we can set a timer and get to work for an hour or 2 hours. You can DM someone on social media. I know it sounds basic, but how many of you mindlessly scroll and don't actually interact or engage? I find myself doing it all the time. If you see something you like and you like someone's post, why don't you also send them a DM and be like, oh, I was just thinking of you. Why don't we reconnect? Do you have a few minutes to chat this weekend? Easy peasy. Or you can join any online community. So many companies are starting their own online communities right now, and start a conversation. People love to share their opinion in comment sections. And you could start a conversation that is about whatever you're an expert in. I encourage you to get creative. Now is the time to hone into creativity, right? And I would love if you guys had any other suggestions for each other, throw it in the chat box too. Now, before I go into our next segment, that is wrapping up my 5 pillars. And I want to make this an opportunity for anybody to ask any questions if they have them. So you can go ahead and pull yourself off mute if you have any questions and ask away. Check chat too. No? All right. That's fine. Well then, we're going to go to the next part. So, what this looks like. I am going to break everybody up into breakout rooms. So this is a feature on Zoom that I just discovered recently, and it's awesome. What's going to happen is you're going to be assigned to a random breakout room, and it'll be you and probably, let's see how many people are here, 22, 21. Okay, so it'll probably be groups of 4. And what's going to happen is I'm going to set a timer on my phone. Everybody in the group has 2 minutes to teach the few people in their breakout group something that you are an expert in. So I just spent 30 minutes talking about the 5 ways to win at networking. You have 2 minutes, so keep it short and sweet. And what is one thing that you know that you could teach someone in a short amount of time? You all are experts in something. I'll give you a minute to think. Don't get stressed. But consider, if you were to make yourself an elevator pitch, what would that elevator pitch be about? That's probably what your expertise is and what you can speak to in a concise way. All right, does anybody have any questions before I split you off into breakout groups? Okay, So just so you know, how it's going to work is you'll get a pop-up that says join breakout group, and you join it, and then you'll be able to leave the breakout group by in Zoom where it says in the bottom right corner leave meeting, but this time it'll say leave group and return to main session, so you can do that. But also I will set a timer and warn you guys when there's like a 2-minute warning or whatever, and then I'll pull you out of it automatically if you don't voluntarily leave when time is up. So again, you have 2 minutes per person. Try to time yourself or just be conscious of the timing, and I'll try to help you guys as well. All right, so now give me a moment and I'm going to break you up. All right, ready? Here we go. Have fun. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It looks like we got everybody here. Cool. Okay, how did that go? You can pull yourself off mute and share.
It went very well.
Yeah? Great. Okay, so I'm going to, how do you guys feel about doing one more round with a couple other people?
Yeah, sure.
Feel good about it? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna, same deal, exact same thing, just new faces.
Okay.
All right, so let's close. Oops, I have to wait 6 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So now let's switch it up here. Close. Okay, these should be different mixes. All right, I'm adding you all to them now. Have fun.
Elena, I just read your chat. I agree. That's great advice. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. I'd love to hear your introduction.
Sure. So similarly, I'm also in marketing or beginning my entering the field of marketing. As I was telling Adriana and Alejandro earlier, I'm an intern at the City of Glendale Economic Development Division. I'm a current student at Pepperdine University. It's my junior year. I help with the marketing. Sorry. Elena, sorry, I can't hear your question. If you want to type it in the chat box and
That's the downside of
virtual.
online, yeah, networking.
It's okay.
Yeah. In general, my connection here is okay, but I've had problems before as well.
Same here, but it's okay. I think people are joining back the main room.
Kylie, we can't hear you.
Amateur move on my part. Hi, everybody. So I just closed up the breakout rooms, and I was encouraging everybody to just drop whatever little bit of info you have to share in the chat so that everyone else who didn't get to meet you can scroll and read it. And then before we go, there's just one other thing I'm going to share with you guys. So let me share my screen with you. Am I already sharing my screen with you? No.
Hey, Kylie, I think the group chat is only letting me a private message you and not the send to the group. I'm not sure what's going on.
So if you go to the chat box, right above where you type, it says to. Click that blue button that says my name, and there should be a drop down.
Kylie,
No, there isn't.
It might
I
be.
disabled it, so you need to enable it again.
Oh, well then, let me just enable the chat. Sorry about that. Ani, do you remember? Actually, Ani, I'm just gonna make you.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I don't remember how to do that.
I think we're all learning how to use Zoom. Zoom 101.
We're all learning. We are all in this together. Okay, Ani, you should be host now.
Yeah.
Cool. So Ani's gonna enable the chat, and I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, and I have one more thing to share, and then Ani will wrap it up.
Okay, we got everyone now, so we can all start typing.
Yeah. All right, so let me share my screen again. Cool. Can you guys all see it? Yeah. Great. So then, let me move to the next slide. So after all of this, it's okay. It's totally normal if you still have some questions. And here's a lot of questions that I imagine may have popped into your head at any point during my presentation. Like, what do you do after you've successfully fostered a relationship? What does that conversation look like when someone is like, cool, I've loved reconnecting with you. How can I work with you? Or how can you capture clients easily and joyfully, especially when it can feel so hard right now? How can you make more money and stress less? Or how do you run a successful solo business when you feel overworked as is? And how do you attract quality clients without waiting for referrals? I know that's a huge one. How do you ethically grow your business during COVID-19? How do you take control of your business so you can finally breathe easy? While I can't solve all of your problems today, we're only here for an hour, I will be diving deeper into these questions on a more advanced webinar next month. And you'll get info on that soon. But in the meantime, I'm offering a 15-minute strategy session to consult with you about how to get more clients during COVID-19. So you can grab a spot on my calendar. I just dropped it into the chat, and we can have a 15-minute strategy session on how to get more consulting clients, because that is a big conundrum, a big question mark over a lot of people's heads right now. And I want to help everybody feel calm and clear with what their business in this new world is going to look like for them. So there's my calendar also up on the screen if you wanted to take a screenshot really quickly. Again, that's for everybody who's here on this call. And I would love to chat a little bit more with you, especially because you guys all got to network, but I didn't. Which really stinks because I love networking. And finally, that is my info if you want to stay in touch. Again, there's my calendar link in the chat. Thank you guys so, so much. And that's everything for me today. Ani, I will let you take it away.
Thank you, Kylie. That was amazing. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did, since it was our first Tech on Tap virtual event. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, choose Glendale and Glendale_tech, and stay connected. This is recorded, so we will be posting it on social media. And then go ahead and connect with Kylie if you want to network or have any other questions for her. Thank you all for attending, and have a good night.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Hi, everyone.
Bye, Alejandro. Bye, Adriana.
Bye. It's nice meeting you.
Bye, Ben. Nice meeting you, too. Bye, Tina. Bye, Diora.